All right, let's look at Newton's method. Newton's method is used to find the zeros of a function, right, or approximate the zeros of a function. All right, here's how it works. All right, so first, so you have a graph of a function there. All right, so the zero we're looking for is this x value there, but we don't know that. All right, so what you want to do is you're going to make a guess first. All right, so first initial guess, let's call it x1. All right, so here's our guess. So it's a little bit off, but this is x1. All right, so this is our initial guess. All right, so what we want to do is we want to improve this guess by this method called the Newton's method. All right, here's how it works. All right, so the actual answer is over here. Your guess is a little bit off. So we're going to improve this guess. So what you're going to do is you're going to go straight up to the graph at x1, so which is the initial guess. And then we draw a tangent line at that point. So I'm going to draw a tangent line at x1. So I'm going to draw a tangent line there. All right. So this is essentially a linear approximation. So instead of looking at the graph, I'm going to actually find the zero of this tangent line. All right. Do you know how to find the equation of the tangent line? All right, so we know that the point of tangency is at x1 comma f of x1, right? So that's the point of tangency. So let's find the equation of this tangent line, right? It's pretty easy, right? Because all you have to do is y minus y1, which is f of x1, is equal to slope m. Slope can be found by looking at the derivative. So we take the derivative and plug in the x1 value, and then times quantity x minus x1. Right? So using the point slope form, we can find the equation of the tangent line there. Right? Then we look for the zeros. Right? So I'm going to we want a 0, so we want the y to be 0. So you plug in y equals 0, then what you get is going to be, so we put 0 in here. All right, so we're going to plug in 0 there. So what you get is this. Let's just simplify. So we're going to put the negative f of x1, which is equal to f prime of x1 times quantity x minus x1. Right, so I'm going to have to solve for x because we're looking for the 0. And so this is going to be, let's see, we can divide through by f prime of x1. So you have a negative f of x1 over f prime of x1, which is equal to x minus x1. We just need to isolate x, so we can simply, I'm going to go down here, I'm going to add x1. So we get x1 minus f of x1 over f prime of x1 is equal to x. All right. So this is the x value we just found. So since we start out with x1, so we improve our guess to get a better guess. So I'm going to call it, let's call it x2, right? And you can see that, so I'm going to put x2 here. So this is going to be x2, right, that we found. All right. Then what we want to do is, maybe I'll put the x2 there. Actually, let's not do that. x2 there. All right. Then, as you can see that this process doesn't have to stop. So if you do, if you look at this, improve the guess, and you can actually repeat this exact exact same process to get to the next better guess. So you have go up and draw a tangent line there. Then we find this next one. I'm going to call it x3. You can see that it's a better guess. But the process is exactly the same, so you can actually guess the answer. So I'll guess the formula. So if you want to find the x3, you can see that you know to find x2, you do x1 minus f of x1 over f prime of x1. Right? Following the same pattern, just replace x1 by x2, we have x2 minus f of x2 over f prime of x2. Right? So once you have a guess, you can actually improve the guess to to the next one, and you can actually keep on doing it until it gets close enough. Right? So here's the general formula. Right? So if you want to find the xn plus 1, all you have to do is use the initial guess minus f of xn over f prime of xn. Right. So let's do a very simple example here using the formula. All right. So here's the original function, f of 4x cubed minus 8. And we want to find x2, so the next guess, if our initial guess was 1. Right. Obviously, 1 is not the correct one. Right. So, but we have to go to x2 based on our initial guess. Right. So let's compute. So we need to have f of 1 computed, right? Because x1 is 1, which is going to be 4 1 cubed minus 8. So this is going to be negative 4. Right. So we need to find the derivative. So f prime of x is 12x squared. So if you want to find the f prime of 1, this is going to be just 12. Right? So if you want to find x2, then all you have to do is, so here's the formula, x1 minus f of x1 over f prime of x1, right? So this is x1 is 1 minus, we want the f of 1 over f prime of 1. All right, but we found those values. It's a 1 minus f of 1 came out to be negative 4. Right? F prime of 1 is 12. Right? So we can simplify. So 4 divided by 4 divided by 4. So you have a 1 plus 1/3. So this is going to be 4/3. Right, so x2 value in this particular case is 4/3. Right, so we can keep on doing this process. If you want to find x3, all you have to do is use 4/3 as x2 and then try to find x3 from there. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.